second part of the policy, which is chapter 6. So let's wait for another 2 minutes so that all friends can join. Now I only see 83 students. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to share my slide so that we can start. Can you guys see the slides?
Yes.
Right, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, right. So let's start, huh? So as I mentioned just now, today we will learn the second part of the policy, which is the other group of policies. Okay, so last week we learned 11 types of policies in the first group. Today we are going to learn the remaining groups with 9 policies. But before that, let's recall what we have learned. Okay, in the previous class, we learned the definition of the policies, and I told you guys that when we look at the definition here, okay, we have 2 information. The first one is the policies. At first, it must be an argument, and then the second one is that argument has mistakes in the reasoning. Only it is an argument, then somehow you can analyze further and you can say that that is fallacies. But if at the beginning it is not an argument, then there is no fallacy. Okay, remember that, and we study some of the arguments with the fallacies. Some it sounds like very much fallacies, but that is not fallacies in the previous part already. Okay, and yeah, here we could see that we learned the group of this fallacy before with this definition, and today we are going to learn the remaining group of the fallacies, which is the fallacies of insufficient evidence. Okay. And before, when we learn the fallacies definition, we also learn the relation among the statements, isn't it? Whether they have the positive relevance relation, whether it have the negatively relevant relation, or logically irrelevant. So for the logically irrelevant, we learn in the first group of fallacy. And for the relevant, we learn, okay? But in this case, it is relevant, although the arguments have premises which have the relevance with the conclusion, but these kind of premises fail to support any sufficient evidence to support the conclusion. So that forms the group of fallacies in this one, fallacies of insufficient evidence. Okay, so before we get into the second part of the fallacies, let's recall what we have learned. Now I'm looking at the chat box and also the participant list. I want to see a hand that volunteered to recall the 11 types of fallacies that you guys learned last week without looking at the note. Okay, it means that a person volunteer, you guys need to turn on your camera so that I can see you, everyone could see you. Okay, and you start to name the 11 fallacies that you learned last week. Now I'm waiting. Let's volunteer to get the bonus. No one?
Yes, my teacher.
I don't see the hand. Please raise the hand so that I could see the name. Trần An Thịnh. I saw the hand now. An Thịnh, please turn on the camera and then start to name it.
Wait me a minute.
Okay.
Okay, teacher. Can you see me?
Yes, it's quite blur, but still I can see you. All right. The camera is
Okay.
not good.
There are 11 places. Um, there are 11 places of relevance. The first one is personal attack. Two words are right. Number
Okay.
3 is red herring. Number 4
Right.
is equivocation. Number
Okay.
5. Number 5 is let me see. I don't remember clearly number 5. I just name 4 types of places of relevance.
Only 5? You can name only 5? Okay, that's all?
I forgot number 5.
All right. Go to the one that you remember.
Yeah.
It's okay. All right. No more time. No more time. Anyway, I also give you one bonus for that. Yeah, thanks. The camera is not so clear. It's really difficult to see you.
Because my internet network are unstable and it's too weak.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. Right. You can turn off the camera. Otherwise, you cannot follow the lecture.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thuận. Anyone else want to support Thuận? Thuận already named 5 types of policies, but it is not in the order. That is why it's difficult to remember. I saw the hand from Khánh Đoan, Lê Ngọc Khánh Đoan.
Yes.
Yeah, please turn on your camera. Right, thanks. Let's start. Again, 1.
Number 1 is personal attack.
2.
Number 2 is attacking the motive. Number
3
is look who is talking.
Very good. 4.
Number 4 is two wrong make a right.
Very good. 5.
Number 5 is caretaker.
Scare tactics. Number 6.
Number 6 is appeal to pity.
Very good. 7.
Number 7 is bandwagon argument.
Very good. Very good. 8.
Strong man.
Straw man. 9.
Number 9, red hearing.
Very good. 10.
Equivocation.
Very good. Last.
11 is beginning the question.
Very good. Very good, Khánh Đoan. Thank you very much. You can turn off the camera now. Right. Anh Thịnh tried, but he only can list off 5, and Khánh Đoan support. And okay, start again over with 11 types of policies that we learned last week, isn't it? Very good. Very big hands to Khánh Đoan. Thank you very much. And I believe that many of you also remember, but just you don't want to raise hand, isn't it? Now, let's look at my slide again. You will see that, right, we have the first one is personal attack, all right, and the format is very easy to be identified, isn't it? When someone tries to reject someone's claims by attacking the personality, the characteristics, or the situation of the person. Okay, and the second one is somehow similar with the first one. The second one is attacking the motive. And here the person also rejects someone's claim, but instead of attacking the personality, then the person attacked the motivation of the one that make that claim. Okay, so somehow 1 and 2 are quite similar. All right. The third one is look who's talking. It is when you say, or you make an argument and you say that I don't believe you, I don't trust you, I don't follow you because you didn't do what you advised. Oh, you did it. Now you ask me to do. I won't do it. So something like that. You make the mistake of look who is talking fallacy. Okay. Number 4 is somehow a bit similar, but of course different. The name is two wrongs make a right. So two wrongs make a right. It means when you say someone did something wrong, now you did it, it is okay to do. Okay, so that is two wrongs make a right policies. And that must be a wrongful act. That is why the number 4 and number 7 is quite similar, but also different. We will go to number 7 later on. But here, remember, number 4 is the wrongful act. Many people do, you do, it is okay. Then that is the fallacy. Okay, so I make the color of number 1 and 2 to be the same, 3 and 4 to be the same, to see that, all right, they have something in similar. Okay, So number 5 is the scare tactics policy, and here we could see that the title have the word tactic. It means somehow like the strategy, and some people utilize the scare tactics policies to convince or even to force the other to follow. Okay, and they know, even they are aware that that is not good, that is wrong, but they still use it. So it is the policies when people try to scare you or to get the scary feeling from you, to force you or to convince you to do or not to do something. Okay, that is the scare tactic. And number 6 is similar with number 5. Number 6 is also to get the feeling, but more of the understanding feeling, the PT feeling. Okay, and also based on that, they convince you or they force you, not really force, more of convince. Okay, and we don't really see any relevance reasons there. So number 5 and number 6 are somehow similar, so I make the color to be the same. Okay. And then, as I mentioned, number 7 is somehow similar with number 4, but different. And number 7, the name of the policies is the bandwagon arguments policy. Okay, sometimes it is okay to be as the argument, but most of the case it will be fallacious because we don't have reason to do or not to do something. Just because many people do something, then you do. And the something that many people do here doesn't need to be the wrongful act. Okay? That is different with number 4. Number 4 is must be a wrongful act, isn't it? And then number 8 is the straw man, when you have an argument and we have our original topic, but then occasionally you change the topic, but the new topic that you raised is somehow still relevant to the original topic. Okay, and number 8 is somehow similar but different from number 9, which is about red herring. For the red herring, it is something that we change the topic also, but the new topic that we raise is totally irrelevant to the original topic. Okay, so number 8 and number 9 both change the topic, but number 8 changed a little bit. The new topic is still relevant to the old topic. Okay, original topic. For the red herring in number 9, the new topic is totally irrelevant. Okay, so you could see and remember by our example, look how I can stand on one leg or something like that, isn't it? That is the red herring. And then number 10 is something that quite unique, okay? That is the equivocation. And it is very much easy for you to identify this kind of fallacies because in the arguments, they would try to use the same word with different meaning. Okay, with the same word and different meanings like that, they make conclusion. So at first, if we look at each of the premise, each of the information, it is okay. But when they use those premises to make conclusion, then it is very much weird for the conclusion, isn't it? Do you remember the example of every dog parts, every tree has a part, so something like that? So the two parts have different meaning, but then they make conclusion, every dog is a tree. So totally wrong, isn't it? So the wrong here is not only on the conclusion, but because of the mistake in the reasoning. So it makes the whole argument become fallacious. And when you receive that kind of argument, you feel like, it's not good. It's not convincing at all, isn't it? And last but not least is begging the question. So here, the name of the fallacies had the word question, but we don't see the question there. It is something like a circle. Okay, it is like we trap in the circle and A because B, B because A, and we don't really see what is the premise, where is the conclusion. We couldn't identify that because they are having a loops, the loops of the information like that. Okay, and then that is the last part, the last type of argument fallacies in this group. And in the next group, you will see that somehow the name of the fallacy has the word question, and yes, it is in the question form. Okay, so that is the name of the fallacies of the first group that we learned. Thịnh and Đoan help us to recall. Okay, and you see that I highlight the color so that you can remember. Sometimes they have something in similar. Okay. Now, let's do some kind of practice. I'm going to show you the mistake, of course, but you have to name it for me, for us. And I will look at the chat box to find the first correct answers to get the bonus. Okay, now, are you ready? Yes or no? Shall we start? Okay. Now let's look at my slide. Go. Put your answer in the chat box. All right, I got the first answer from Hải Yến and Gia Huy with the question mark. Are you asking? Nguyễn Hoàng, Hải Yến, Trần Gia Huy, Vũ Kim Ngân got the fastest answers, and all of them are personal attack. Okay, and Thanh Đạt also added into personal attack, and Huỳnh Ngọc Hoàng Ly said, "Look who is talking." Okay, so one say, "Look who is talking," four said personal attack. Anyone else? So if personal attack is the correct answers, then Nguyễn Hoàng, Hải Yến will get the bonus. If look who is talking is correct, then Huỳnh Ngọc Hoàng Ly, Hoàng Ly or Hoàng Lý will get the bonus. Okay. Any other answers? No? Okay, so let's look at the slide here. We can see that the shrimp, let's say the shrimp of the person on the left hand side point at the one on the right hand side and say, "Oh, how can you let this kind of shrimp or person run the country?" So, and this one is very big guy and this one is very small guy. So they point at the person and that one and say, "How can you let this person do this, do that?" So that is more of what? Personal attack, isn't it? We don't see any "look who's talking" here, right? So this is the personal attack, and so Nguyễn Hoàng, Hải Yến is the one who got the first correct answer. Okay, thank you very much. And the other, try to contribute to get the bonus. I could see that around 20 students keep to get the bonus again and again, but the others not. So try to, okay? Don't hesitate to do so. Now let's look at the next one. What's that? Thái Gia Bảo said PT. It means appeal to PT maybe. And Phạm Thị Ngọc Thảo said red herring. Bích Liễu red herring. Tuyên Dương, look who's talking. Đức Hạnh red herring. All right, Kim Thư red herring. Hồng Nhung red herring. So many of you said red herring. Some said appeal to PT. Some said look who's talking. Okay, so it seems like we have different answers here, and most of them said red herring. Okay, so if red herring is the first is the correct answers, then Phạm Thị Ngọc Thảo will get the bonus. Okay, so let's look at this. Okay, you can see that we don't see any kind of PT here. We don't see any kind of look who's talking here. Be careful, right? You need to identify the information. So we can have the situation that, right, the daughter wants the toy, isn't it? And the mom is saying, "Oh, let's rush home, let's run home, yummy treat for you." So it's something related to the food, isn't it? So that is the changing of the topic, and I believe that mommy did it a lot. Okay, I did it to my daughter as well. So we changed the topic, in this case totally, from the toy to the food. So this is more of red herring. Okay, so Ngọc Thảo got the bonus. All right, well, be careful. We don't see any PT things here. We don't see look who's talking here. You did it, I did it, you asked me not to do or something like that. No, we don't have that. Okay, now how about the third one? Faster. Quốc Bảo said, look who's talking. Phạm Thị Ngọc Thảo said, strawman. Đức Hạnh, strawman. Hồng Nhung, strawman. Bích Hằng, strawman. Anh Huy, strawman. Trúc Na, strawman. Oh, many strawman here. Most of you answer strawman, and one said, look who's talking. Okay, so again, if strawman is the correct answers, then Phạm Thị Ngọc Thảo got the bonus again, very fast. The others try to be faster. Okay, and yeah, if you have the same answers of strawman like that, it means that strawman is the correct answer. So why it is strawman here? You can see that, all right, the friend on the left right here said that, oh, the media claims that the senator was taking some kind of bribes. Okay, and the two are actually discussing about the information from the media, isn't it? But then the other friend said, oh, but we all know about the media credibility, right? So the other friend changed to the media reliability, credibility, whether it's reliable information or not. So this is also changing the topic from the information by the media to the media credibility. So in this case, change the topic, but still related to the original, which is about media, isn't it? So in this case, this is more of strawman. Okay, that is different story between strawman and red herring in this example. You see? Okay, very good. Now, next one. Okay, Bích Liễu said begging the question. Gia Huy said scare tactic. Đức Hạnh begging the question. Hải Yến begging the question. Công Sang or Công Sáng begging the question. Xuân Sơn begging the question. Now many of you said begging the question. One said scare tactics. Is it anything scary here? Not really, right? Anyone else? Are you sure begging the question is the correct answer? Read carefully. I need to wait for the correct answer. All right, Phạm Tường Vân said equivocation. So many of you said begging the question. Anh Huy, equivocation. Trúc Na, vocation. Tường Vân, equivocation. Now we have two main groups of answers. Begging the question or equivocation. Okay? So if begging the question is the correct answers, then Bích Liễu will get the bonus. If equivocation is the correct answer, then Phạm Tường Vân is the one who gets the bonus. Okay? So again, you can see that in this example, we have, all right, something like being repeated again and again, isn't it? You cannot have it because every other day, but never today, since today when it was not any other day. So the day being repeated, but today and other days would be something different, isn't it? So somehow being repeated, and at first you guys said that it is begging the question because you feel like that, but we don't have anything like a premise is conclusion, conclusion is premise here, isn't it? So it is more of something, some word being repeated again and again. So in this case, it is equivocation. Okay, so we need to, that is why in the previous class we learned and we had some of the example, and it is quite similar mistakes, but the name of the fallacies will be different. Okay, so be careful. Now, how about this one? Very much easy. Trúc Na said begging the question. What else? Look, he's talking. Hồng Nhung, Nguyễn Hoàng Hải Yến, two wrongs make a right. Thúy Danh hả? Thùy Danh, two wrongs make a right. Hoàng Nam, two wrongs make a right. We have two wrongs make a right more than the other answers now. Anyone else? So you see here, we don't have anything like you do it, I do it. Then that is look who is talking. We don't see it, isn't it? and we don't see like something being repeated at a premise or conclusion. So, but here the boy said, I'm sorry, I cheated on you with Jane, but then I cheated on Jane with the other one. So 2 times cheating, and he feel, oh, it is okay. So it is more of 2 wrong make a right, isn't it? This one is more of 2 wrongs make a right. So Hải Yến got the bonus. Very good. Okay, next one. Okay, Thái Gia Bảo said appeal to BT. The other friends also said appeal to BT. Everyone here gave the answers and appeal to BT. So it is easy to see that, right? Oh, Tuyên Dương said bandwagon. Is there anything that many people do here? Yeah, not really, right? So many answers said appeal to BT, and here you could see that the lawyer said, all right, yeah, how can this guy is a murderer? He's an orphan. So they take the condition of he takes the condition of the person who is an orphan to convince the others that he is not a murderer. So in this case, this is more of the fallacies of appeal to BT, isn't it? Right? Okay, now how about this one? So for the appeal to BT, Trần Gia Bảo will get the bonus. Okay. This one, Ngô Lâm Đức Hạnh said that this is bandwagon. Bích Huệ also bandwagon. Trúc Na also bandwagon. Okay, Phương Vi also bandwagon, Hải Yến and Tuyên Dương also said bandwagon. So we could see that, yeah, that is the correct answer, isn't it? The person don't really know what is the benefit of this, but this seems like the trend these days, so I just follow it. So that is the bandwagon, and this happens very often in our daily life, isn't it? We young generation often follow the trend without really have a sufficient or relevant reasons to support why you do so. Just many people you do. Okay, so this is the example of bandwagon fallacy. So thank you very much for joining us with the exercise just now, and many of you got the bonus now. I hope you get more and more bonus. Okay, so now we will get into the second part of the fallacy, the second group of the fallacy, which is about the fallacies of insufficient evidence. Okay, it means that the statement of premises are very much relevant to the statement of conclusion. However, the premises fail to provide sufficient evidence to support the conclusion. It means that the premise tried to provide the evidence, of course, but that is not sufficient evidence. That is why the whole argument still follows us. Okay, now when we studied this, it has the definition just now, so again and again we see it, and you need to remember the definition, of course. And we are looking at the 9 types of fallacies in this route. And yeah, the name is like this, and we for sure will get into them one by one. But first of all, you could observe that in the name of the fallacies in this route, some of them are very much similar to the name of the arguments that we learn in chapter 3. Okay, so therefore, this is the group of fallacies of insufficient evidence because we are trying to make the argument. And of course, when we make the argument, we try to provide the evidence to support our conclusion, but still we failed it. Okay, that is why at first we try to make the conclusion in the right format that we learn, but then we fail. That is why somehow the name of the fallacy is quite similar to the name of the argument. Okay, so now let's get into them one by one. The first type of fallacies here, the name is inappropriate appeal to authority. Okay, and this fallacy happens when you cite the information from some kind of witness or some kind of authorities. Anyway, the source of your citation is somehow untrustworthy. Okay, untrustworthy or having some bias or some authority which is not the expert in the field, not the representative of the field or something like that. Anyway, the source is not the one that you should cite for that information. If it is the case, then you make the fallacies of inappropriate appeal to authority. So now, remember, recall, what type of argument has similar name like this? Inappropriate appeal to authority. And what is the name of the argument easily fall into this mistake? Some name of the argument similar with the name of the fallacy here. Do you remember? Now you need to recall the 11 types of arguments that we'll learn in chapter 3. What is it? Ngọc Thảo, please. I saw the hand. Phạm Thị Ngọc Thảo.
I think it's a argument from authority.
Very good. Argument from authority. Thank you very much, Ngọc Thảo. That is correct. Okay, if you remember, we have one of the argument type named argument from authority. And the format of that argument is we are going to borrow the information from some source. And that source, we called it authority. So authority could be a person, a website, okay, an organization, a book, or something like that. Okay, anyway, when we conduct the argument from authority, we will say according to this, according to that, and this, what, that, what is the authority. So we borrow the information from any sources. The source is the authority. So in this case, if you conduct the arguments and you borrow the information from some source, but that information is not originally from the source, or the source is not the expertise in that field that you are citing, okay, or the source has some bias, then you make the mistake of inappropriate appeal to authority. And you remember, Wikipedia is not a reliable source. Okay, so if you cite according to Wikipedia, blah, 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 then your arguments easily fall into the mistake of inappropriate appeal to authority, even though you may make the correct format. Okay, so be careful when you cite the source. You must check the source carefully, whether the source is trustworthy, is there any bias inside the source, or whether the source is the representative of the information or not. Okay, so this slide, you can see that we have a list of questions here. So you can utilize this kind of question to check or to access the authority before you cite it. Or if someone provides you with the argument from authority, you can use one of or some of these questions to check whether they have a good authority or not. If they cannot prove that these are the good authority or reliable authority, and then you can say that, all right, you may fall into the mistakes of inappropriate appeal to authority. Okay, so you see that you can utilize this kind of questions when you have the group presentation. What if you want to make comment on your friend's presentation? Okay, you can utilize this kind of questions to ask, especially when they are trying to say that I'm showing you with the argument from authority. So you can use one of these questions to judge. Okay, that is the first one. Now we'll look at the example here. We will see that, right, in this example, the person is trying to conclude on Einstein's intelligence, isn't it? I guess Einstein wasn't as smart as everybody thinks he was. And why the person said so? Because his or her barber told that, all right, Einstein's general theory of relativity is a lot of hogwash. So the person, all right, cite the information by or from the barber about the general theory of Einstein, and then make conclusion about Einstein's intelligence. So in this case, it's not a good authority, because barber is not a person who have a knowledge or did research on this field. Okay, so we cannot cite and make conclusion like this. So if this person do like this and make an argument like this, the argument makes the mistake of inappropriate appeal to authority. Okay, or similar, you can see in this example also, right? The two was discussing, and one said, all right, I play lottery today, all right, and I know that I'm going to win something. And then the other friend said, how can you say that? All right, did you read the outcome? And so no, I called my fortune teller, okay, and then he told me the lucky number. So if the fortune teller knows the lucky number that going to win the lottery, we believe that the person will make it for himself, isn't it? So that is why when you use the fortune teller as the authority for what you decide to do, it is not a reliable source. Okay, it is not so safe for this kind of argument, isn't it? Okay, so this is the example of the inappropriate appeal to authority. Okay, and then the second one we have here is the appeal to ignorance. Ignore. Okay, so what we ignore? We ignore the evidence. So the person say, all right, we haven't seen it, or there is no one has said, has proved. So therefore, what? So if we just say there is no one has proved, no one has said, no one has seen, then we make the mistake of appeal to ignorance. Something like this. Okay, so one say, there must be intelligent life on other planets. And instead of providing the finding that he did some research and he couldn't find, then he will make conclusion. Then it's okay. But here we don't have the information that the person did research, but just say, oh, no one has proved that there is easy. So there must be. So this kind of saying also very common in our daily life, isn't it? Then if it is the case, then the person is trying to ignore the information. No one has proof, no one has said. Then make conclusion opposite, isn't it? So in such a case, we are making the appeal to ignorance fallacy. And here you will see the phrase, no one has said, no one has proof, being repeated again and again, or being used in the argument. In such a case, then that is the appeal to ignorance fallacy. Okay? Then the third one, the name of the fallacies is false alternatives. And this kind of fallacies happened when we pose a false either-or choice. So look back to the 11 type of arguments that we learned in chapter 3. What is the name of the arguments that easily fall into this mistake at first? False alternatives. What kind of arguments allow us to list up the possibilities, the authorities, or the alternatives here? Which argument has the format of either or? Ngọc Thảo, Phạm Thị Ngọc Thảo.
Yes, I think it's a hypothetical syllogism.
Hypothetical syllogism. Ngọc Thảo said hypothetical syllogism. Is it correct? In the hypothetical syllogism, we use if, then. We don't use either or. Which one? Anyone else? Which one has either or in the argument? No one said? Okay, Trần Thu Anh.
Argument by elimination.
Very good, Trần Thu Anh. Thanks a lot. Argument by elimination. Do you remember the format? In the argument by elimination, we are going to list up all of the possibilities in the very first premise, isn't it? And it depends on how many possibilities you list up in the first premise. You need additional premises, okay, to eliminate the possibilities, but keep one. And then make conclusion on the remaining one. So we use either or, either A or B or C, or we list and then we eliminate, isn't it? So here, if we list up the possibilities and we make mistake in listing up, maybe we list not enough the alternatives or possibilities, then we may fall into the mistake of false alternatives when we pose a false either or choice. Okay, so remember, it means that when you conduct the argument from or by elimination, easily you fall into this mistake at first. When you try to list up the possibilities, the choices, the alternatives, but you don't list up all, okay, or the choices are false, are not correct, then this is the name of the fallacy. Okay, so here, when you look at the example here, two of them are about the election. Let's pick up the first one to discuss, okay? You can either vote for the Republicans or Democrats, but you don't want a Democrat, so you must vote for Republicans. So what is wrong in the first example here? Why is it fallacious? Why? Do you understand what I'm asking? Why it's so quiet? What are the choices being posed here? I'm waiting for the answer.
Teacher, can you repeat the question again, because it's raining really bad on my side, so the connection is not good.
Me too. In my area, it's going to be very heavy rain. Okay, I will repeat the question, right? Thanks, Minan. I'm asking you guys that in the first example here, okay, we are having the mistakes. We are having the fallacies of false alternatives. So I'm asking you guys why it is false alternatives fallacy. Get it? And we're talking about election, and the person say, oh, either you vote for this or for that, but you don't vote for that, so you must vote for the other. Why is it fallacious? I hope you guys can still hear me. You are over 18 already, right? You know that you have the right to vote. Manan, I saw the hand.
I think this one is incorrect, because other than these two choices, you also have the choice of not voting for any side.
Very good. Yeah, if you are, oh wow, really heavy rain in Manan side. So you could see that, yeah, in voting we have actually different options. So if you have, let's say in this case, two parties, isn't it? Then either you vote for this party or the other party, or you vote for non-party. So you keep your vote blank. It's still legal, but it will be illegal if you vote for both of the sides, isn't it? But here in this case, if we have two parties, then actually we have three options. Either we vote for one, or we vote for the other, or we don't vote for any. We keep our vote blank. In such a case, it is still legal. So here the person only lists up two possibilities. It means that, right, it is not correct, isn't it? The possibilities, the alternatives are not enough in this case. Do you understand? Can you still hear me carefully? If the network is not so good, I need to turn off the camera. Are you still okay with my connection?
Yes.
All right, thanks. Because it's still, yeah, it started to rain heavily now. Sorry for that. And it's dark because I didn't turn on the lights anyway. Okay, so this is the example. Please remember, that is why be careful when you use the argument by elimination. You need to make sure that you list up all of the possibilities. Otherwise, you may be falling into this mistake. Okay, now the fourth one, the name is loaded question. Okay, and here I told you previously, in the first group of fallacies, the name of the fallacy is begging the question, but we don't really see the question there, isn't it? But here in the loaded question, the fallacy has the name with the question there, and you will see the question. Okay, you will see the question here. So you will see that someone will try to pose a question with some unfair information or wrong information, okay, to you or to the listener, and then they make conclusion on what you are trying to say. So that is the loaded question fallacy. Now you are going to look at the example here, all right, and the person start with, oh, have you stopped cheating on exams? So that they pose a question with negative information. And when we say negative information or unfair information, it means that maybe the information that they pose is wrong. Okay, now what would you respond if someone posed a question like this to you? Have you stopped cheating on exam? What would you say? I'm sorry, can I just leave for 1 minute? I will take the light and I turn it on. Is it okay? It's too dark and you cannot see me, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right. Why don't we take, yeah, why don't we take 5-minute breaks from now? Okay. Now it's 2:10. So take 5 minutes. I will prepare the lights. Is it okay, everyone?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, do it now. Do it now, everyone. I'm not sure your area rain or not, but yeah, Minan and my side also got heavy rain. So let's take 5 minutes break from now on. Okay. Okay, I am back. I hope you are also. Are you back? Can we continue?
Yes, teacher.
Right, thank you. How about the others?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, then please continue. Now, I was leaving this question to you guys. I'm not sure if you think for the answers or the feedback already or not. But what if someone posed this kind of question to you? And then, yeah, just start by asking, have you stopped cheating on exam? What will you say? Any response? How will you respond to this? The way you respond have just to get out of this kind of loaded question. Do you think you will prefer to say yes or no answer? Ting Yung, can you turn on your microphone?
Yes, teacher.
Right. So Ting Yung, have you stopped cheating on exam?
Yes.
Yeah. So you told me that you admit that you used to cheat before.
I'm not sure.
Okay. Thanks,
Yeah.
Ting Yung. Thanks a lot. That is exactly the same with the example here. Okay. So yes or no. If you just say yes or no, like Ting Yung did, then people will keep posing the question. So question, it is loaded. That is why you see the name of the policies is loaded question. Okay, and that is why when I continue, oh, you admit that you cheat before, then Ting Ying's, not sure. But then that is something that different from the answer in the chat box from Tuan, isn't it? Tuan said, oh, I have never cheated on exam. So if you only say yes or no answer like Tuyên Dương or Minh Tín did in the chat box, then we will have the continuous question. And it is loaded more and more into the conversation, isn't it? And originally, actually, they are trying to post a negative information to you or unfair information to you. But if it is honest that you guys cheated, then nothing to say, of course, all right? But most of the case, the information is negative, unfair. In such a case, how can we get out? We do like Tuan did. We answer in a long way, isn't it? And this long way of answering actually help us to confirm the information that they post in their question is wrong. No, I have never cheated on exams. When you say like that, okay, they cannot keep posing the questions to you. But if we did like Ting Dương just now, or even Minh Tín, then they will continue. If you say yes, they will say something else. If you say no, they will say something else, like in the slide here. Isn't it? So that is the way to get out of the loaded question policy, is to answer in full and confirm the information in their question is wrong. Do you understand? Yeah? Now, let's look at the other example here. All right, what if people ask you about your best friend? Okay, let's change the name to your best friend name and say, oh, I used to friends with that loser ABC or something like that. What will your response? What will be your response to this kind of loaded question at first? Anyone want to try? Yeah, Manan, please. What is your best friend name?
My best friend name is Yu Hao.
Huh? Once again?
Hao.
How? Okay. I hope that he is not here or she is not here. He or she.
He.
Okay. I hope he is not here. Are you still friend with that loser? How?
I don't know what you're talking about, and please don't accuse my friend like that.
That's it. That's it.
Yes, so I just say that one, he is not a loser, and two, please stop accusing my friend like that.
But I don't see that you said no, he's not a loser. I don't know what you're talking about. Doesn't say that you reject the claim, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
So instead of saying I don't know what you're talking about, you should say no. Okay, no, he's not a loser. My friend is not a loser, and yes, I am still friend. So yes, I'm still friend with that, and he's not a loser at all, isn't it? But if you just say I don't know what you're talking about, we haven't rejected the information, that we haven't denied the information that they post in the loaded question. Do you understand? Very good. So in this case, you can see that also we receive some negative information, of course not for ourselves, but our friends. So in this case, we can say no, okay? If we just say yes or no, then they will continue, something like this. But if we say no, he's not a loser, or my friend is not a loser, and of course, we are still very best friend, we are close friend. Got it? So this is how we can deal with the loaded question policy. But we could realize this kind of mistake by having, okay, it is in the form of question. It is not really the question because the people try to load the information, okay, and it is negative information to you. In such a case, yeah, it is the policies, and we know how to get out that. Okay, you can stop them by, oh, at first, you are making the loaded question policy, and I will respond to it anyway. Yeah, we are very best friend, and he is not a loser at all, isn't it? So that is how we deal with number 4, loaded question here. And remember, that is the mistake. We need to avoid it. Okay. Now, number 5 here, the name of the policies is questionable cause. Now, I want to ask you guys, okay, the name of this policy is somehow quite similar with the name of an argument, in which, okay, the policies happen when we claim without sufficient evidence that one thing is the cause of something else. So what kind of argument has the name to be similar with the name of the policy here? What is that? Trúc Quỳnh. Võ Nguyễn Trúc Quỳnh, please.
I think that is a causal argument.
Oh, very good. That is causal argument. Okay, causal argument from the cause effect. And yeah, if you remember well, in the chapter 3, we learned in the causal argument, we have some kind of fact in the premise, isn't it? And we try to make conclusion on the reason that caused that fact for the conclusion. Do you remember? I can't log in. The network must be down, isn't it? So that is the format of causal argument, isn't it? But that argument is also the fallacies one, because we can imagine, you guys discuss together, we have different cases where we cannot log in, but not because of the network, isn't it? So it means that when you make the causal arguments, you must be very much careful. Otherwise, if you list up the cause, the reason, but it is not enough, then maybe you make the mistake of questionable cause fallacy. So here, without sufficient evidence, something is the cause of something else. It means that, all right, you may have the correct format of causal arguments, but you make the mistake of questionable cause fallacy. Okay, so look at the example here. You will say, the person say, oh, how do I know that ginger tea is a cure for the common cold? Okay, last week I had very bad case, isn't it? And then I drank a cup of ginger tea, and the next morning it's gone. So the person, based on the fact that he drank a cup of ginger tea, and then the next morning it's gone. Okay, that case of sniffles gone. So he concludes that ginger tea is the cure for the common cold. But we could think that, right, if we apply more, okay, we use more knowledge or information, we could see that for the common, it is very much unlike something like COVID-19 nowadays, okay? The common cold takes 5 to 7 days to recover by itself. The person, the body got the ability to recover after 1 week. So what if this person, okay, maybe one of the reason could be because of the ginger tea, but maybe it also be the case that the person went through 6 days already, and today, the day that he drank the ginger tea is the last day. So the next morning, the coincidence here is, yeah, he drank ginger tea, but also it could be like the last day of the common cold. So if he make conclusion that the ginger tea, based on his own cases, he make conclusion, then that is kind of questionable cause. Because we could see that there are many other reasons leading to the common cold to be recovered, isn't it? If he wants to conclude that the ginger tea is the cure for the common cold, maybe he should do more experiments with more people, okay, survey or the pilots or something like that, to have more information in order to make this kind of conclusion. But if only based on his case and his fact, then make conclusion, that is the questionable cause fallacy. Okay, so this example, or even you look at the other example here, you will see clearly. In this case, the person observed that, right, many homosexuals have AIDS. You know what does it mean by AIDS, isn't it? So they based on the fact that many people of homosexuals have AIDS. Then they make conclusion, oh, homosexuality causes AIDS. So that is in the right format of causal arguments, but that is fallacious. Because the person explained the cause of AIDS is because of homosexuality. And that is wrong, isn't it? Because we know that that is not only the reason. We could see the AIDS transmit from mother to the daughter or the boy when they are having the labor, isn't it? Something like that. So in this case, even though the arguments have the right format of the causal arguments, it failed to support. Okay, the conclusion is not well supported by sufficient evidence from the premises. Therefore, it is fallacious. Okay, so here, be careful. When you make the causal arguments, make sure that we list up all of the causes for some fact. But you know that it's not easy, isn't it? That is why it is more of the inductive reasoning. And that is why we will learn more how to improve this kind of argument in chapter 11 later on. But at this moment, we need to realize the type of the fallacy. Okay, so be careful. When you conduct the causal arguments, you may fall into this mistake. Okay. Now, number 6 already, we have the name of the fallacies is hasty generalization. Oh, we're very familiar, isn't it? There is a name of the argument, has this kind of similarity for the name. And in this case, the hasty generalization fallacy happens when we draw a quite general conclusion from a sample that is biased or too small. What is the name? I saw the hand. My wing. Sorry, let me look at the previous note.
Inductive generalization.
Oh, inductive generalization, my wing, very good, isn't it? And we see that the name of the arguments are very much similar with the name of the fallacy here. In the inductive generalization, if you guys remember, we have to answer to 3 questions, isn't it? In order to check the format. Okay, the first question is, what is the sample? The second is, what are the characteristics that we want to generalize? And then the third one is, what is the population as the whole? Isn't it? So if you could answer to the 3 questions, it means that your argument is in the right format of inductive generalization. But then, after you could check the format, it means that you could answer the question of sample, of population as a whole, and of characteristics. Then you need to check carefully on the sample. Because if the sample is too small compared to the population as a whole, or the sample is biased, then your argument will be hasty. Your generalization will be very much hasty, and that is the mistake. So we need to avoid this kind of mistake by checking the sample. Make sure that the sample is not biased, or the size of a sample is somehow appropriate with the size of population as a whole. Okay, and this is the mistake, so we are going to fix it later on. In chapter 11, we will learn how to improve this kind of mistake or make it better argument. But here, this is the fallacy. Okay, and the way to identify it is to check the sample. Got it? Now, let's look at the example here. In this example, maybe the researcher is trying to answer one research question: do most Americans still believe in God? Okay, and then in order to find out the answer for this, then the group of researchers asked more than 10,000 scientists. at college and university throughout America. And then the feedback of the question is that less than 40% said that they believe in God. So the group of researchers conclude that, right, most Americans no longer believe in God. Isn't it? So now we need to check the formats first. Please answer to the 3 questions by putting the answers in the chat box. Now, first, what is the sample? Second, what is or what are the characteristics that they want to generalize? And the last one is what is the population as a whole, the bigger size. What is it? Okay, I'm waiting for the answers to the 3 questions in order to check the format. Okay, I got the answers from Phạm Thị Ngọc Thảo. Maybe 1 means the characteristics is believe in God. 2 means the 10,000 scientists and at college and university throughout America. That is the sample. And then 3 means the population as a whole, isn't it? Most American, isn't it? If you guys have the same answers like Ngọc Thảo, that is the correct answer. Very good one. Right, so we could see here, we identify the sample is 10,000 scientists at college and university throughout America. Okay, and the population as a whole is most American. They make conclusion for most American, and then make conclusion on the characteristic that whether they believe in God or not. Okay, so what's wrong? Why is it hasty? Now, Thảo already helped us to identify the answers for the 3 questions. So if we could answers to the 3 questions, it means this argument is in the right format of inductive generalization. But why is it follows us here? What happened? Trần Gia Huy, please.
Yes, I think the number, the result number is quite small compared to the whole population of America.
Of America, yeah, thanks Huy. Gia Huy said the problem he could see is that, all right, the sample size is quite small compared to the population as a whole, which is 10,000 scientists compared to the most American, so the American population, isn't it? What else can you see? Besides that, what else can you see? Zohi, please continue. Yeah.
I think that the percentage is quite nearly a half, but they have a conclusion is the most.
Once again, you said that scientist is a half.
The percentage, 40.
No, 40% said they don't believe in God. So it means they believe in God. It means 60% don't believe in God. So they based on 60% to make conclusion, most American. So actually they combine the inductive generalization with the statistical argument, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
So one thing you point out is there's a number of samples smaller, much smaller compared to the population as a whole. I agree. What else can you see? Manan, please.
The way they select select the object, the people to carry out the research as well, because scientists are usually most of them are atheists, so it's not a good group to represent the average American.
Yeah, very good, Manan. So Manan said that, right? The group of researchers did interview for the 10,000 scientists. The interviewee is the only scientist. And Manan said, right, a scientist is not the representative of the population as a whole for the whole America, isn't it? Because in the American population, we could see that we have scientists, we have housewives, we have children, we have different group of people. So if only we pick up the scientists to ask, then that is not the representative of the population. And furthermore, right? Furthermore, the scientists are very much believe only in science. They don't really believe in God. So if you only pick up the scientists to ask, then your sample is somehow biased already, isn't it? So if you want to make sure that you have a good conclusion on the American people, then you need to select different groups of people as the interviewee, isn't it? But if you pick only the scientists, then the bias will be there for sure, isn't it? So here, like Zhang Hui said, if we compare the size, the scale of the sample, 10,000, with the total population of America, then we could see that, right, that is too small compared to the population. However, if we look at this survey side of study, we see that it needs really hard effort, okay? Time, money to do the survey for 10,000, isn't it? So somehow if we look at the 10,000 for the survey activity, then that is a good number. However, besides comparing with the population as a whole, we could say that, right, the bias is there in the sample. The bias is because the sample is not the representative of the population as a whole. That is why this is a fallacy. That is why this is hasty generalization, isn't it? So that's what we should be noticed when you do this kind of inductive generalization. Also be careful, it may fall into this mistake, hasty generalization. Okay, that is one example. Now you can look at the other example here, and also please try to identify the answers for the 3 questions to check the format first. Now this is the second example. Please also provide the answers in the chat box for the 3 questions. The sample, the population, and the characteristics. What is your answer? Manan, please.
I think the quality they're looking here is that they recommend the toothpaste, the Happy Glossy Smile toothpaste brand.
Mm-hmm.
The sample are the 5 dentists,
Right.
and the population should be all dentists.
Very good answer. I was expecting to see more answers in the chat box to see if you have any confusions or not. Because in the previous class, on Monday and Tuesday class, some of our friends got the wrong answer for the sample. They look at this argument and they said that the sample is 4. But no, the sample is 5, isn't it? They pick up 5 dentists to ask. And when they ask the 5 dentists, then 4 of them recommend that. So they make conclusion, oh, maybe most of the dentists will also recommend, so it must be a good one, isn't it? So in this case, you could see that Munan got the correct answer for the sample here. We have the sample is 5, isn't it? And we have the characteristic is to recommend that type of the brand, isn't it? And then, yeah, the population as a whole, most of the dentists, even though we don't have exact number, how much is the all of the dentists that they are talking about, but they would say, we could understand it is implying that, right, most of the dentists will recommend it. Therefore, it must be good. So in this case, we could see that if we have the sample only 5, right, and we make conclusion, then obviously the sample is too small. And here it is hasty because the sample is too small compared to the information that they conclude for the conclusion, isn't it? So here we could see that we have 2 examples to see that one is the reason of the sample is biased, not representative. And then the other one is the sample is too small. And both of them, either one of them cause the hasty generalization fallacy for the inductive generalization arguments. Okay. Now, you could see that, you know this kind of story, isn't it? We have in our study 5, but in the picture we have 6. Okay, 6 blind per person look at or touch, actually, touch the elephants, and each of them touch one part. And only because they touch only one specific part of the elephant, then their conclusion is, of course, very much hasty, isn't it? One touch this and think, oh, it must be this one. And so we have different conclusion here because actually their information in the premise is already not enough, isn't it? And not representative of the whole object here. In this case, is the elephant. And yeah, this is very common story in Vietnamese that we have also, isn't it? Okay, so that is the hasty generalization fallacy. So we are looking at number 6. I hope you still remember the other previous 5. Okay. Now, number 7, the name of the fallacy is a slippery slope. So the slippery slope fallacy happens when you claim, again, you see, without sufficient evidence, that seemingly harmless action, if taken, will lead to a disastrous outcome. So it means that, you say, if you do this, it will happen, blah, blah. So it sounds like very serious consequences will be happening. Okay, if it is the case, if you could provide sufficient evidence, then it's okay. But if you don't provide sufficient evidence, then you may fall into the mistake of slippery slope. Okay, so let's look at the example here. You could see. Now, the person mentioned that, all right, Dr. Perry has proposed that we legalize physician-assisted suicide. Do you know what does it mean by physician-assisted suicide? Ingi, you can go. Everyone, Ingi, remember that we have the quiz today, so remember to open the link, okay? Anyway, Ingi, please go. Now, everyone, what does it mean by physician-assisted suicide? Anyone got idea on that? Physician-assisted suicide is not common in our country, but in developed country, they are having. Manan, turn on your microphone.
So the physician-assisted suicide is for the people who are very willing to commit suicide, but this is under the help of the physician through a lot of different kind of medicines to ensure painless death. And this is usually happen when there's like they have terminal illness and they don't want to suffer, so they chose this, but it's very a very controversial thing until now.
Yeah, correct. Thanks, Manan, for the explanation. So Manan explained this term by saying that, right, the person chose to be dead, okay, to die by the support of the doctor or from the hospital by injecting some kind of chemicals into the bodies, and so that they will have a painless death. And it is most of the case when the patient in the hospital, they are in the last stage of the, let's say, cancer, or their illness cannot be cured anymore, and under their agreement or their decision, and also the family, then they will choose that kind of death. So that is the meaning of this term, and that is not very common, not in some developing country, but in developed country we are having this kind of thing. Okay, so anyway, Dr. Perry made the argument to legalize that kind of activity, and the person said, oh, no sensible person should listen to such a proposal. It means that the person doesn't want to legalize this kind of activity, and the reason is that, oh, if we allow physician-assisted suicide, eventually there will be no respect for human life. And the person didn't provide the evidence, just say eventually. Oh, if we say that we don't provide any sufficient evidence, just to say, oh, eventually there will be no respect for human life, then we are making, or the person is making, the slippery slope fallacy. Do you understand? So this is the fallacies when we say that, oh, if we allow this action, it will lead to this, will lead to that, will lead to that. And that is the slippery that we are talking about. And here the mistake is because the person didn't provide sufficient evidence. But if they provide sufficient evidence, then it is okay, isn't it? But here they don't. They just say, oh, eventually. And that is the fallacy. Okay? Or if you look at this example, at first when you read it, it sounds like one action, seemingly harmless action, will lead to the disastrous outcome. So like, oh, if we cannot unlock our child from the closet, because if we do so, then she will want to roam the house. Okay, so if we let her roam the house, she will want to roam the neighborhood. Wow, it becomes serious now. And if she roams the neighborhood, then she will get picked up by a stranger in a van who will sell her in a sex slavery ring in some other country. So you can see that they use this kind of continuous consequences, all right, to convince us not to unlock the child from the closet. It means don't let the person run, or the kid runs freely everywhere, isn't it? And the reason they gave, oh, serious. So here at first, if we don't provide evidence, and it's very slippery, so the mistake will be there. But if you could provide evidence, then somehow you can make the argument better, and you can avoid this kind of slippery slope. So in this case, I will try, okay? I will try. Let's say I hide something under this box, and what I hide is actually some kind of possibility. What could be the possibility? If we let her or him out of the closet, then she will roam the house. So let's say, yeah, within the house, you can go everywhere. So that will be very high chance. Let's say 95%. You can have different, but of course, this must be well supported by evidence. Let's say people do some kind of survey, and they come up with this kind of thing. Okay, so let's say we have 95% chance that the kid, if they are freely go everywhere in the house, yeah, they will roam the house. Okay, so if they roaming the house, and then maybe they will roam the neighborhood, but neighborhood is big, isn't it? So the possibility would be lower. Let's say in this case, I have number of 10. So I'm providing additional information to support, okay, to support the condition of what happened because of what. Okay, so that, let's say 10%, that if we let her roam the house, she will want to roam the neighborhood. Okay, and if she roams the neighborhood, she will get picked up by the stranger. I believe that this percentage is quite low, isn't it? So yeah, not big, 0.05%. And then in a van, oh, we have several types of vehicles. So let's say 35% is in the van, isn't it? who will sell her in a sex slavery? This is not high like that, isn't it? So anyway, we are trying to support so that we will avoid the slippery slope. But of course, whether you can support it or not, it's very much depending on your backup information. Okay, so therefore we should keep her in the closet. Okay, so this could happen. You know, we have the argument of hypothetical syllogism, isn't it? If then, if then. So if we make if then without sufficient evidence, then our argument is not so good, isn't it? So it may fall into the slippery slope fallacy. Okay, that is number 8. Now look at that is number 7. Look at number 8 now. We have the name of the fallacy is weak analogy. And this fallacy happens when we comparing things that aren't really comparable. And what is the name of the argument that has similar name with this fallacy name? Trúc Quân, I saw the hand first.
I think it is argument from analogy.
Very good. I also see the hand from my wing, but I believe that is the correct answer. Thank you very much. That is argument by analogy, isn't it? Or from analogy. It's okay. But anyway, in that type of argument, we compare things, isn't it? With similarities. And we also have 3 questions to answer in order to check the format of that argument. We have the first question is about, okay, what are the things to be compared? The second one is about what is the similarities they have in common. And then the third one is what is or what are the similarity that they want to make conclusion on, isn't it? So if you could answer to those 3 questions, it means that your argument is in the right format of argument from or by analogy. But then the mistake might happen if you pick up the things to compare that is, which has like they are not comparable at first. They are not comparable already, but you still try to pick them and then compare. Then you may fall into this mistake. Okay, the weak analogy. Now let's look at the example here. You will see. Okay, you can easily answer to the 3 questions, isn't it? The things to be compared are the lettuce and the poison ivy. And I highlighted for you already. And then we read in the first statement, they provide the information for the characteristic, the similarity. Now, lettuce is leafy, green, and tastes sweet with the veggie burger, isn't it? And then they provide for the second premise information for the poison ivy. So the poison ivy also leafy and green, right? So they have something in common already. And they make conclusion, oh, probably the poison ivy also tastes great with a veggie burger too. Okay, so you can Google and you can see what does it mean by poison ivy, but for sure the name is like that and it is not edible, isn't it? But the lettuce is something for cooking, for edible. So here we cannot compare something that edible with something that we should not eat because the name is like that. It must be dangerous for our health, isn't it? So at first we could see that even though we can point out the similarities between these 2 objects, but they are not comparable at first. Therefore, if you continue to do this kind of comparisons, actually it is a very weak analogy argument. That is the fallacy. Okay, that is the example. Or yeah, similar. You can see in the example, the second example here, I highlight the things to be compared. The hockey stick with the bread, isn't it? And they said that the hockey stick are long and hard and can be used as a weapon. And so the French bread, also long and hard, and also probably it can be used as a weapon. So I'm not sure if any of you watched the movies named Johnny English. Did you watch the movies named Johnny English before? When one part that he wore a 3D glasses, isn't it? And he were in the demo of the criminal house, isn't it? And he tried to catch the criminal, and accidentally he went out of that demo room and he went outside and he went to the bread shop and he thought that he carried the stick, but actually that is the bread. And he attacked the person, the old lady on the wheelchair, and because he thought that that is the criminal. So that's something similar with this story. I'm not sure if you watch the movies, you will see it's somehow similar with this example. Okay, so the person is trying to compare the 2 things here But at the beginning, that is not comparable already. So you could see this is the weak analogy fallacy. Do you understand? Okay. Now, the other example for you is here. Okay. Now, let's look at the picture here and try to list up the similarities between these two objects. An apple and an orange. Now, any of you could list up the similarity for me. You can put it in the chat box. It's okay if you don't want to raise your voice. Still, you can use the chat box. I still see the hand from Mai Wee. You forgot to put the hand down, or you want to say? Thanks. Okay, so Mai Wee put the hand down. Okay, Tuan said they are both fruits. They have round shapes. Very good. So two similarities. Tuan point out. What else? Fruit, round shape. Okay, Đức Hạnh add besides the fruit, then okay, they have some kind of similar taste. Okay, and my is very delicious, very good. So it's delicious. Delicious or not, it's quite difficult to say, right? It depends on person by person. But anyway, yeah, it could be the similarity here. So we have 4 similarities now: fruit, round shape, sour taste, and also delicious. What else? Look at the picture. Okay, they have leaves, yeah, green leaves there. Okay, very good. 5 similarities. What else? Yesterday class, some said they have the A in the name, apple and orange with the A. What else? You guys can point out 5 already. We can use them for desserts, yeah, right, okay, or before or after, yeah, okay. Edible, yeah. What else? You can go more and more, isn't it? Some said they could provide. Oh wow, they have seeds. Yeah, Tom Sang, very good. They have seeds, right? Of course, different type of seeds, but yeah, they have. What else? Very good. You're trying to find the similarity. Okay, and we have 6 or 7 similarities now. Even though you can find more, isn't it? Some would say they provide vitamin C, isn't it? Okay, so you can see that you can list out so many similarities among these 2 objects. What if I conclude, oh, so apple are orange? How do you think? That is not good, isn't it? That is not good because they are not the same. Even though they have similarities like that, we cannot make conclusion. We may have different type of conclusion, but if we conclude that, okay, apples are orange, then that is not good, isn't it? Right? Or you find some kind of characteristic that orange have, but apples don't have, then we cannot make conclusion on that similarity, isn't it? Because the first thing we did is we picked the wrong things to compare. And you know, in our daily life, we often compare things, isn't it? We compare this person with the other, this thing with the other, this country with the other countries. We compare a lot. We have the tendency to compare things to come up with any other conclusion. So be careful. If you pick up the wrong things to compare, the things that aren't comparable to compare, then you make the mistake of weak analogy. Okay, that is the mistake. Okay, please try to avoid. Now, last but not least is the inconsistency. I like to come up to this one because I'm going to pick up very funny story or example to play with. Okay, so the inconsistency happened when in our arguments we assert inconsistent or even contradictory claims. Okay, the contradictory claims here is more of the one in the premise, isn't it? So now let's look at the example here. The MM is trying to convince the friends to go to that restaurant tonight. Okay, and Yogi, one of the friends, said, "Oh, that place is old news. Nobody goes there anymore. It is too crowded." So it means that Yogi is trying to convince the friends not to go to the restaurant that MM suggests, isn't it? And Yogi provides 3 reasons. The first one, that place is old news. The second, nobody goes there anymore. And the last one is, it is too crowded. So what's wrong? What's wrong in Yogi reasons? Oh, sorry. What's wrong is that? Can you see the problem? Yogi is trying to provide as many reasons as possible, isn't it? And here we saw 3 reasons, 3 claims he provides. Mina?
The reason that he provides contradict each other. Like the sentence, he said that nobody goes there, but the next one said that it's too crowded. So it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, very good. So if you listen to Yogi's reasons, like Manan said, it doesn't make sense. And the reason why we said it doesn't make sense is because, like I highlight in the layer 2 statements here, the second statement said, "Oh, nobody goes there anymore." But then the third one said, "Oh, it's too crowded." How come a place nobody goes there but too crowded, isn't it? So like Manan said, the 2 claims here are very much contradictory, isn't it? And somehow inconsistent or contradict to each other. So in this case, the person is trying to provide many reasons, and that is the advice for you guys. When you provide too many reasons, be careful, because if you don't remember what you said, maybe some of the information you provide as the reasons will be inconsistent or even contradict to each other. In such a case, it destroy or they destroy the whole argument, and it make the argument become inconsistency fallacy. Do you understand? That is one example. Now, let's wake you guys up by another example. This example, yesterday I tried to pick the boy, but none of the boy answered, so it's real difficult for me. Now, I want to ask in our class today, is there any boy wants to volunteer? I want to ask the question to the boy who are having a girlfriend. Okay. And yesterday they said that due to COVID-19, the boy could not have a girlfriend. It's very bad excuse, isn't it? That is the questionable cause fallacy. Here, I hope that I can pick up any boy and the person is having a girlfriend now. Could you please volunteer for this kind of exercise? I'm expecting a hand from a boy who are having a girlfriend. Who is having a girlfriend? Please. Come on. And don't worry, we don't know who is your girlfriend, so we won't tell her anything. None of you? Really? That's sad. You don't want to answer to my question. Should I call the name? Let's see to see that you are awake or not. Đặng Quốc Anh Duy, are you here? Anh Duy?
Yes, I'm here, Miss.
Right, right. Sorry to ask, are you having a girlfriend now?
I'm not have a girlfriend now.
Then sorry, I can't pick you. Thank you, Yi, for the response. Another one. I don't see all of the names here. Really, you don't want to volunteer? I only see several names. I can't pick all of them. I wanna hear from Đoàn Quốc Bảo.
Sure.
Yeah, can you respond whether you are having a girlfriend or not?
Actually, I have broken up for 1 month.
Oh, just 1 month during during the lockdown?
Yes.
Sorry to hear. It's not good if we touch Quốc Bảo story now, right? This will be very painful. Boys, anyone? I saw Đặng Hoàng Nam.
Yes.
Right, can you share? Are you having a girlfriend now?
Yeah, no.
Okay, FYI, Đặng Hoàng Nam is available. Someone please volunteer because I could not see all of the names of 110 students here. So I can't pick up the name. Đặng Nguyên Thái hả? Ông Nguyễn Thái. Are you there? Come on.
Yes.
Are you having a girlfriend now?
No. That's what I know.
It's good for the girl, but it's sad for me because I don't have someone to communicate. Come on. Please volunteer. I don't want to open the Excel file to see the name. I look at the list from MS Teams. I couldn't see all of the name. See more. I could see more. Let's say Lâm Bùi Anh Tuấn. It took me 5 minutes to find one person. Why don't you guys just raise your hand? Volunteer. Anh Tuấn, are you there? Absent. Just turn on the MS Team and go to bed. Công Sang or Công Sáng? You guys are afraid of asking being asked, right? It's not a right or wrong. Gia Bảo, you wanna volunteer? I saw you turn on the camera now.
It's actually turned on. I don't intend to.
Okay, do you want to respond to my question? Are you having a girlfriend now?
I'm single for 19 years.
Okay, Gia Bảo has been single for 19 years. Anh Tuấn, can you turn on the microphone? Are you having a girlfriend now? Of course not with you now, but are you in a relationship? Now, very simple. All right, I'm going to give the question so that you will not be afraid of the question. I intend to pick a boy who is having a girlfriend, and I'm going to ask, okay, because the girlfriend often doubt about the boy's feelings, so they often ask, I believe, they often ask, oh, why do you like me? Or why do you love me? Isn't it? To the boys who are having the girlfriend. The girlfriends often ask like that. Not all, but most of the girl will ask like that. Why do you like me? Why do you love me? And what would be the response from the boy? The girls, if you are having a boyfriend, do you often ask your boyfriend something like that? Oh, why do you love me? Why do you like me? And then, okay. All right, then what would be the response from the boy if you are asked like that from your girlfriend? Or even those who haven't got a girlfriend, let's pretend that you are having a girlfriend and the girlfriend asks you like that. What is your response? Why do you like me? Why do you love me? What happened? Anton, you can put in the chat box. Gia Bảo, now, single for 18 years, let's say.
I'm just pretending I don't know if it's a correct thing to answer or not, but I will say that I love everything she have. Right?
Too general. The girls don't like that, isn't it? Everybody, the girl here, if it's too general like that, the girls don't like, and she will jump over that. I love everything about you. Okay, so how about the others? If you hesitate to raise your voice, you can put in the chat box. What if the girlfriend asks you, why do you love me? Why do you like me? What will you say? And then, okay, I don't want to waste time. And then, what if, okay, the boy answer this way. I love you because you have very pure heart. You have very long and beautiful hair. You have big eyes, and you have a beautiful smile, like my ex-girlfriend. What happened? Okay, do you understand? Can you listen to me carefully? But if the boyfriend answer, okay, you have very beautiful heart, okay, nice hair, big eyes, and like beautiful smile, like my ex-girlfriend. What happened? And any girls, if you have boyfriend and you ask the question and the boyfriend answer like that, what happened? Hi Gia Bảo, you haven't got a girlfriend, but you got the answer. Break up for sure. Thành Trung said because of a trap. Thành Trung, huh? The girls, what happened if the boyfriend answer like that? Okay, so break up for sure is the answer from someone who have been single for years. How about the others? Now the girl can answer as well. What happened if your boyfriend answer like that to you? Gia Bảo said. Anyone else? That is bad, isn't it? That is bad. The boyfriend is trying to make the girl happy by answering and try to find many reasons, isn't it? To say, oh, the reason I love you is like this, like that. But then at the end, he said, oh, like my ex-girlfriend. So this statement, okay, finally, the last statement destroyed the whole conversation, isn't it? And then, like Gia Bảo said, break up for sure. Okay, and the ex, he will be the next ex, or he will have the new ex-girlfriend, isn't it? So in this case, I'm not sure why you don't respond to me on this. Maybe because you are single, I don't know. But anyway, this is just a funny example, a funny story to say that if you try to give too many reasons, you must be careful. Otherwise, sometimes you may make the mistake of inconsistency. You know what I mean? Okay, so I hope that this kind of example could make you remember this kind of policies longer. Okay, it matches your daily situation, so it could be easy to remember. Okay, so anyway, we are looking at the 7 types of policies that we learned today. Now, I want to have a hand to volunteer in recalling, all right, in naming the type that we learned today. List up the 9 types of policy, the 9 types of policies that we learned today, without looking at the notes. Don't. You are looking at the notes now, isn't it? Don't look at the notes, and you raise your hand, you turn on your camera, and you list up 9 types that we learned today. Anyone? I see you guys are looking at the notes. I just pretend to see. None of you respond. So sad. Ding Yung, please.
Yes, teacher.
Yeah, you need to turn on your camera so that we could see you.
9 cái
Very
luôn hả
beautiful.
cô? 9 cái
Yeah,
luôn
of
hả cô?
course, 9. Very beautiful job. Now let's go.
The first is inappropriate abuse to authority.
Very good.
The second is abuse to ignorance.
Ignorant. Very good. The third.
False alternative.
Yes. Fourth.
Loaded question.
Yeah. Fifth.
Questionable cause.
Yes. Very good.
Yeah.
Sixth.
And hasty generalization.
Very good. Seven.
Slippery slope.
Slippery slope. Very good. Number 8.
Weak analogy.
Yes. Very good. And the last one.
Inconsistency.
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Thank you. Bravo. You can turn off the camera now. Very good job. So I believe that many of you could also remember, and yeah, Ting Yung already helped us in recalling the 9 types of fallacies that we learned today. Okay, so at least by today you remember the 9 types plus the 11 types last week, isn't it? And not only the name, but also how to identify this mistake in the argument. Okay, so this slide recalls you for the 11 types of arguments that we learned, isn't it? And you could see that in this kind of arguments, some of them have similar name with the fallacies we learned today, isn't it? Like if it is the argument by elimination, it may fall into false alternatives fallacy. If it is inductive generalization, it may be hasty, isn't it? If it is authority, it could be inappropriate appeal to authority. If it is causal arguments, it could be the questionable cause, or even if it is an argument from analogy, it could be weak analogy fallacy. Okay, so this is 11 types of arguments that we learn in chapter 3, plus 20 types of fallacies we learned last week and today. So we have 20 types of fallacy over 11 types of arguments. So we have very high possibility to make mistakes. So be careful. Okay, be careful. And we already covered the argument types, the fallacies type, then you are able to do the group work already. So we'll explain it very soon. But before that, I want you guys to remember that we are going to have the homework. So you don't have to take notes now. I will upload the slide on Blackboard for you to see this slide. And also I will create assignment tasks on Blackboard later on. Okay? But anyway, remember that we have the homework. Okay, so today we learn, and as I mentioned, we learn chapter 3 about the argument types. We learn chapter 5 and 6 about the fallacies. Now you can start for the preparation of the group work. And by group work presentation, it means that you are going to conduct the argument to convince our friends, the others, on some topic for your opinion. So the first step that you are going to do from today is to choose the debatable topic. Debatable topic means that, okay, a group of people will say, I agree. A group of people will say, disagree. And don't choose the topic that most of people already agree or most of the people already disagree. Okay? So again, the first thing we do is to pick up the topic and the opinion. Agree or disagree. The whole group must have the same opinion. And then the later steps, I will guide you guys. We will continue with, okay, identify the keywords to make the mind map and to choose the argument type and start it to make the argument. But anyway, first today, as soon as possible, within this week or latest is next week, try to confirm the topic with me. So discuss among yourself, among your group mates, and inform me with the topic and opinion. So if you don't have any real interest, you can list up several. You can list up several topics and opinion, and you can send me in the same time, okay, at once. And I will say, this is all, many people do it, so don't do that, or something like that. So you can send me with a list of topics that you think you can do, and I will say this is good, you should do, this is not good, you shouldn't do. You understand? And you know that we have nearly 20 groups in our class, and plus the other groups of other classes, so too many. So if you submit too late, then I would say no, this topic the other friends are doing already. So this is on first come first serve basis. Okay, so that is why need to discuss among your group mates and also inform me as soon as possible. Now, I may have the questions from you guys, but before that, what I want to add more is you are going to conduct 11 arguments in the 11 format, correct format that we learned in chapter 3. And of course, you need to avoid the mistakes, avoid the fallacies that we learned in the chapter 5 and chapter 6, isn't it? And those 11 arguments you need to conduct in the correct format to support your opinion on the topic that you chose, on the debatable topic that you chose. Do you understand? I'm not sure I go too fast or not, but now is the Q&A time. Please ask the question, not only related to the group work that we are talking about, but also related to today's content. Please, now is the Q&A time. And someone will ask that I got the questions from the previous class, so I tell you guys also. Some will ask, okay, how long for each of the group presentation? Okay, so the answer is maximum 30 minutes for the presentation of the group. The remaining time will be for Q&A. So after we study today, next week, and then 2 weeks for the midterm exam, then we will have additional week for the content of the lecturer. After we finish all of the lecture, then we will have 5 weeks left. Okay, 5 classes left for the presentation. So in each of the class, we may have 4 to 5 presentation maximum. Okay, and the order of the presentation could be randomly. Either the group volunteer, or I will use the lucky well to pick up the number to present. Okay, so that is what I could provide. If it's still unclear, you guys can ask the question now, please. Anyone? Manan, please.
When do we have to submit the PowerPoint, the deadline for it?
Right. Okay. Manan asked about the submission deadline. I don't request you guys to submit the PowerPoint. So if you don't want to give or to get advice or comments from me, you just keep doing, and then on the date that you have to present, you can show. But if you want to get my advice or comments on your work, then you can send me via email. Okay, I will provide feedback. But there is no requirement for the submission, so there is no deadline for that. Okay.
Thank you, teacher.
Thanks. Yeah, Zabao asked for the time. Yeah, it is of course after the midterm exam. So today we are in the week number 7. So next week is the 8th, all right? And you have the exam on week 9 and 10. Okay, and then after that we need 1 more week for chapter 11. So probably we will have the presentation from the 4th week of November. Okay, so yeah, maybe we will have presentation from 24th of November will be the first presentation. Yeah, that's it. So it must be after the midterm exam. Several weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week after the midterm weeks. So if that is why in total from today you have around 4 to 5 weeks only to prepare. So you should fix the topic as soon as possible, topic and opinion as soon as possible. So like Monday and Tuesday class, I received several groups confirm the topic already. So you also should do that. Got it? Anyone else? Where are the topics? I don't assign the topics for you guys. You need to choose by yourself. And in order to choose a debatable topic, maybe it could be something related to the society or political, yeah? You need to find by yourself, Zahui, my wing, you need to find. I'm not sure, have you ever watched the Trường Tin with the debaters? Yeah? Have you ever watched the debaters on VTV 7 or VTV 1? I forgot, on Sunday. So you could see that they have also this kind of section for the debates among the groups. So that is something you can check with. Is it okay, Mai Quyên and Zahui? And then An Huy asked to explain again what we have to deal with the topic. You have to pick the topic first, An Huy. You have to pick now. Like look at the slide from me now. Step 0 at very beginning. You need to pick a debatable topic. That is what you need to do for this week, or maximum latest in next week. You should finalize the topic with opinion. Okay. Quốc Bảo, I couldn't imagine how to choose appropriate argument type for each. Don't go too fast. I told you guys I will explain the other step. Now what I'm asking you guys is to finalize the topic. Your concern, like you watch the news, you follow the social media, people raise many arguments about something. You know, recently, you know about Chibu case, right? We should enjoy, chúng ta nên enjoy cái moment này, isn't it? And it becomes a kind of joke amongst the user, the social network user. They also use something like that, isn't it? So that could be something to debate. One group in Tuesday class already showed that whether we should in English when we say. Do you understand? Quốc Bảo, and question is more of the later part already. So okay, let me explain. You choose topic and you are going to support it. For example, all of the members must agree to support or to against some topic. Okay, the one that you chose and I approve. And then you should list up some kind of keywords at first on why you support that or why you against it. Okay, so list up the keywords. And then before we start to make the arguments, you guys need to make a storyline by matching them into the mind map. When you make the mind map or the storylines like that, you make sure that your keywords are linked. And therefore, when you conduct the argument, the arguments will be linked and they support each other. But if you don't make this kind of mind map, you could see that when you make the argument, one cannot support the other. And when we support one topic, one opinion, of course, one argument is not enough, isn't it? So that is the next step. The next step. After you choose the arguments, it depends on the information that you could find for that argument. Then you choose appropriate type of arguments. For example, if the information is more of information, data, number, then you can think of, mathematics, isn't it? Or comparisons, right? Mathematics. Or if it is more of percentage, okay, statistically arguments. Do you understand? That is the step of choosing appropriate argument type. Now, it is not the stage. Now, please think of the topic which is debatable and choose the opinion that you want to go. Whether you support, let's say, the insert, the usage of English together with Vietnamese like Chibu nowadays, or you against that. Do you understand? And it comes with another question. Can one or two groups choose the same topic or not? And the answers for that is yes. You guys can choose the same topic as long as you have different opinion. So one group choose this topic and they chose to against that, and the other group support that, then it's okay. Both groups can work on one topic, different opinion. But if you guys work on the same topic with the same opinion, I don't agree on that. Okay, that is why it is first come, first serve. That is why you guys should submit the topic and opinion as soon as possible. Now, ask more. I hope that you have the question. If it is unclear, please ask.
How you create the presentation?
Maybe the question from you. Sorry, someone saying something?
How you do
Trung,
create?
louder.
How you create the presentation?
Okay, I will give the score based on first your arguments. Okay, 11 types of arguments must be in 11 types of formats, isn't it? Correct formats. And then no fallacies. Try to avoid the fallacies. That is one. The other one is the performance during presentation, whether your friends give the questions and you can respond to that. Okay, that is the two things that I will use to grade your performance, your score for the group presentation.
Okay.
Okay, Trung?
Okay.
Thanks. Right. Anyone else? Don't tell me that no question because everything is clear. Or no question because none of things are clear. Which one is the situation now? Do you have any current topic in your mind you could share with your friends now? I think that many of our friends are confusing what could be the debatable topic to talk about, to debate. Manan, do you have any idea? Can you please suggest something? Anton, please.
How long we submit the presentation of lab for?
How long for each presentation? Yeah.
No, submit presentation.
No, you don't have to submit. Our friend asked already, and I told you guys you don't have to submit if you don't want to receive the comments from me before the presentation. You don't have to submit anything.
Okay.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Anyone got any idea? We still have 5 minutes to discuss, please. There we asked, so after the presentation, our friends will ask the question and debate. They won't debate much. They won't say, no, we disagree with what you are saying. But they will try to point out the mistakes in your arguments. Maybe they will say, before my comments, then they will comment. Okay, I will ask for the comments from the friends first. They will say, oh, this is the wrong format, or we see that this has the fallacies there. They will say something like that. And if their point is correct, it means you have the mistakes there. So yeah, the score will be low. So try not to make mistakes so that your friend can see. Okay. And the one who make comments or questions to the friend, to the presenters, will get the bonus. So please also utilize the time to get the bonus. Okay. When your friend presents, you can ask the question to get the bonus for yourself. Is it okay, Anhui? Gia Hui, and also An Hui asked, so we only need to select either against or support. Yes. So all of the 11 arguments must be on one direction of opinion only. Okay, you cannot say I have 5 arguments to support that and I have 6 arguments to against that. No, all of the group members must go to one direction of the opinion. Either all of you agree on that or disagree on that. And all of the 11 arguments must support your opinion, your only one opinion. Understand, Anhui? Yeah, thank you. Anyone else? So when you are thinking for the question, I'm going to post the link for the quiz in the chat box. Okay. Ngọc Thảo asked, will the order presentation depend on the group number? No, I will use the lucky well. Whether you call it lucky or unlucky is okay. I will use the well to decide who will present, which group will present, not by the order. Not the first group will present first. No, that is not. Okay. Or normally at the beginning of the day, I will ask any group volunteer. So if you're ready and you want to volunteer, then you can go first. Okay. If none group volunteer, then I will pick randomly by the well. Understand, Thảo? Yeah. Any other questions? We still have time by the presentation. So next week, if we have the short lecture, maybe we also have time for discussing about the topic and opinion as well as the presentation. Don't worry, I will explain. Okay. First of all, you guys need to come up with the topic and opinion as soon as possible. Is that all, everyone? So I'm going to open the link. What is the timeline? Is it from now until 4:30? Isn't it? How many timelines do we have? Why don't you guys respond to my question? I will open the link from now until 4:30. Is it okay? Of the quiz, link for the quiz.
I think it's okay, teacher.
Yeah, right. So if none of you have any other questions, then yeah, I'm going to post the link for the quiz of chapter 6 in the chat box now. It is available from now until 4:30. Could you please try to access to the link to see if it works or not? Please confirm that it works, it opens so that everyone can do. Can you access?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, so if you can access, then the link will be opened until 4:30. You have nearly 1 hour to do. Okay, and if you have any other questions, you can put in a chat box later on, or next week you can ask me or ask your friends. So now if we don't have additional question, then yeah, could you please turn on the microphone and say goodbye?
Bye, teacher.
Cô ơi,
Yes.
cái topic là submit cho cô qua đâu cô?
Email, send by email, please. I will reply.
Dạ.
And you make a list of topics. Don't just send one topic. What if I reject that? So you should discuss and come up with several topics. Okay. You can put it in the priority order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by priority. Then I will say. Okay.
Thank you, teacher. Bye bye,
Right.
teacher.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, teacher.